Hi everyone, welcome back to mHUB Inside. Today is an exciting day because we get to talk about ice cream. We're going to talk about Frolic, which is a machine that was designed and developed at mHUB for at-home use for fresh ice cream. So the concept is to deliver ice cream pods to your house that you pop in the machine, and in under 2 minutes you have fresh ice cream. The company has already raised over $100,000 on Kickstarter to deliver its first batch of products this summer. And it was actually made in collaboration with Dana Cree, the executive pastry chef of the Publican Restaurant Group. If you're a Chicagoan or a foodie, you'll recognize that name. The idea was to take the multi-$1,000 pieces of equipment that you might see in a restaurant kitchen for making ice cream and make something that you could have on your countertop at home and improve on the taste as well. So to make all of that happen, Yuri, an mHUB member, was hired as an engineer on the project. So we're going to talk to him today about how he made it happen.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so what we're looking at is an early prototype of Frolic and a later prototype. And the most important question that I need to ask first is, do you like ice cream?
Oh, I love ice cream. It's my favorite thing.
Would anyone answer no to that question is the follow-up question.
It's a hard question to say no.
So in general, we'll get into the lab, we'll look under the hood, we'll talk about some of the components and machines that you used at mHUB. In general, what's your take on the full cycle project? You guys are reaching the finish line. How's it gone?
Oh, it's been a long process, starting from prototypes and testing until finally we got a production unit.
Right, which is this right here.
Right.
Well, let's take it into the lab and we'll look at things a little bit more closely.
Perfect.
Okay,
Sounds
see you
good.
there. Great. Okay, so we're in the electronics lab, and behind us are all the different iterations of Frolic, some of them, not all of them.
Right.
But we're going to work backwards talking about it and actually just show you how it works. So if you were to have it at home, how you would make ice cream. Yuri, would you do the honors, please?
Well, the magic starts with unloading the cup holder. Then you get your ice cream pod, remove the lid, place it inside, just load it again and rotate it all the way. You can see the light starts blinking, so it's prompting you should press me, right? So you press it and it starts working. We're adding some air to the ice cream to make it puffy and really smooth.
Yeah.
And the blade is rotating at high speed to break all the crystals.
And then you wait for how long?
We wait for about 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Shouldn't take that long. And then here's your ice cream. You can eat it on the cup holder like this, or you can pop it out and eat it like
Go
that.
sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Something that I read that I thought was interesting is you can add the toppings to it, like mini Oreo cookies or
yeah.
even like peanuts. I don't know what all you could add, but that it will chop it up for you as it's making the ice cream.
Yeah, you can put dry fruit, frozen fruit,
Nice.
all kinds of things. And then once you're done, you can clean the blade. You press the blade change button, and then the blade comes down. So you can grab it safely, flush it in, rinse it in water,
Yeah.
put it back on.
So truly that's the only part that you clean, because this is in the cup and these are recyclable or biodegradable.
Yeah, exactly.
So how easy?
Yeah, it's very easy, very convenient.
Okay, well, let's break it apart. Let's bring one of these over to an electronics bench and we can look at some of the other pieces. Unfortunately, we didn't have actual ice cream to taste because that formula is still in production, but
Right.
can't wait until we do.
So let's put it
All right,
here.
we can make some room.
And here.
So really, we just kind of want to look at, again, all of this was designed and developed at mHUB using the various machines. So I want you to talk a little bit about kind of what all of those parts were. But first, we should just kind of peek under here.
Where? Okay.
We can't quite show everything because some of it's patent protected, but within here is the PCB board,
Correct.
which kind of just runs the whole machine. So I'm going to jump over while you're getting situated and talk to Fedor about his work on the board.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Fedor, hello.
Hey, what's up, Kim?
Hey, okay, so we're here to talk about one of the most important components of the Frolic machine, the board.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and your expertise. I think this is the channel's first time in the electronics lab.
Cool. Yeah. My name is Fedor. I'm a co-founder of Maximal LLC, and we, together with Yuri from Quasar Design, made this PCB. So I'm an electrical engineer. That's my background. I came to mHUB, been here for 4 years now, and Yuri came up to me and he said, I think you're the perfect person to do this design, and I said, yeah, let's rock and roll.
Great.
Yeah.
Were there any like particular unique challenges to the actual end use of the product, like the Frolic machine, that informed how you built that is maybe something you've never done before?
Oh God, yes. Yeah, the motor. The motor is the most challenging part because it is a motor driver board at the core of it. So what the machine is doing is it's grinding through ice cream, and this ice cream is frozen. So when we were testing this motor, we were just testing it with no load in the beginning, and we're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. That can work. But then once we actually put the ice cream in there, the motor went like
totally different conditions. I'm going to leave you to talk about some of the components and the tools, because I don't think on this channel we've been in the electronics lab. And like Fedor said, like this is his territory. I think you're here almost every day in this exact spot.
Yeah,
so I'm going to step out of view so everyone can kind of see what's going on here if you want to talk about some of the components.
Awesome. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you come on over here, so here we have the board. And the first thing that will stick out to you is this chip right here. So this is actually a very common chip on the market. This is what provides the Bluetooth connectivity. So this is what allows this to be an IoT device. The next thing that you'll see popping out here is this component, which is this is the motor driver. So we sourced this from a company. They make these chips so that we don't have to, because this is a complex chip, and it would have taken us, I think, maybe another year just to do this alone. So I'm glad we decided to use this. And so there's actually two motors here. This actually controls the stepper, which controls the Z height of the motor. So it plunges this into the ice cream. And so this big MOSFET over here, which I mentioned, this is what's actually spinning this motor. And we wouldn't have been able to actually test any of this if it wasn't for this great equipment here, you see. So this is a DMM, so a digital multimeter. So this will provide voltage testing, current testing, so are we stepping things up to the right voltage? Are we sourcing the right amount of current? You also have a power supply. This is what provides power to the board, which I can actually demonstrate right now. I'm going to hit this. So there you go. The motor's running, and the little green LED is on. That's showing we have a good power supply input in. That's a small demonstration. We also have this DC load over here. We use this to test this MOSFET before we had the motor. So we hooked this up to make sure that we didn't actually damage our motor. And then once we were sure it's good, then we added this motor in. So great piece of equipment. This can handle up to 200 watts, so super good for high current applications. This oscilloscope, this is a really top of the line oscilloscope here. You have 4 different channels, so this really shows you the waveforms in the circuit. So you see there's some channels here, scope probes hanging here. So we were using this primarily on that MOSFET to see what the gate voltage is. So we're trying to see, is it dipping? Is it staying at the level that we want it? It'll give you more resolution and insight than just this regular multimeter. So I'm really glad that we have this piece of equipment here. And of course, last but not least, all the soldering equipment that you have here, hot air station, soldering irons, vise, all this equipment just allows me to actually do these reworks, fix these components so that we can continue testing and designing.
Great, Fedor.
Yeah,
awesome
for
rundown
sure.
of the project, but also both the tools in the mHUB electronics.
Of course.
Lab. Thanks for that.
Couldn't do it without it.
Let's hear what's next. What are final things you need to finish, and then how are you going to hand this off to the manufacturer? Because I know the first products are set to be delivered in the summer.
That's right.
How's it going to happen?
We already have partnerships set up with a manufacturer, and we have thousands of units just waiting to be put on the assembly line.
Right.
So
I had read on the Kickstarter page that like the chips and the boards were already acquired and like through the supply chain, which I was like, well, good. That's a relief that they had the foresight to consider that for the timeline.
Yeah, we were seeing that. We were sourcing those parts, so we got them ahead of time. That poses another challenge, which is constantly having to update those components and make sure we have the stock to do it.
Right.
But I think that's the last component. We lock that in and then send those files to the manufacturer, and then they can have the machines and the people make all that great product.
Great, which will result in fabulous tasting ice cream.
Yes.
So
I've tasted it myself. It's delicious.
yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Fedor.
For sure.
We'll jump back over with Yuri and look at some of the other pieces.
Yeah, awesome.
See ya.
Thanks, Kim.
Bye.
Yeah.
Okay, what we have here? Here we had all the different components or prototypes that we did for the 3D, for the Frolic machine. So we use sheet metal parts for the base. This is the base. This is the vertical column. This part holds the motor. This was the rear of the machine for the fan, for exhaust. These are the seals, the initial seals that we made versus here's the final one compared, right? And then some of the components, like this is the cup holder, and a little bit of the inside. We have this is the speaker that makes the nice noise at the end, right?
We need that.
And this is the magical blade that is the one that creates the ice cream.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see, like, do these ridges really make a difference? Probably, right? Like that's what cuts up the crystals.
Right, that's what cuts the crystals. They need to be sharp.
Yeah.
And then these other ones over here
are blunt.
Help to blend. So it's a combination.
Cool. And okay, so you mentioned metalwork, you mentioned 3D printing. What was the one or two machines that you think you were just on all the time?
I was using all the time. I was using a lot, like the CNC, the Tormax.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, the bending machine, the lasers.
Right.
I use the lasers, the plastic bending table, even the metal laser, the fiber laser. I use that one. I got to use almost everything that mHUB had available to build prototypes and test it.
And like these big components, like the actual structure and the form, was this made here? Did you like use molds or 3D printing for this?
The initial ones were 3D printed.
Which I think we kind of saw over those like early phases that kind of looked a little bit rougher.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell because it has the layers versus this one. This is the injection molded part. It looks very smooth and nice.
Okay.
It was a challenge to print something that big, but we did it.
Yeah, and then this would have been like outsourced. Like this was sent to a manufacturer, and what we're looking at was actually kind of produced as a final prototype.
Correct. Now these ones, these are all injection molded parts. You compare to the original ones, you're going to see all the ridges, but this now looks perfect.
And is one manufacturer making everything, or are different components being made different places and then being put together somewhere else?
One manufacturer is doing most of the parts, like the metal and the plastic parts, but there are components that we need to buy, like the motor.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this manufacturer is making the motor, but like the microcontroller and some components that we don't.
And the board, maybe.
And the board,
yeah.
Right.
Cool. So great. It's so nice to look at all the different elements and realize that these all originated in different parts in the shop. And I'm excited to eat the ice cream. Like let's do it together when the ice cream is available.
Yeah, no, it's supposed to be.
Do we have an ice cream party?
Yeah, we should have an ice cream party.
Let's
we should do it. Yeah, we have plenty of machines. We're bringing 6 more. So
are you gonna have one at your house?
Definitely I'm going to have one in my house. How about your house?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I missed the summer boat of the first production run, but I will follow Frolic, and you can follow Frolic at Enjoy Frolic on Instagram, and also their Kickstarter page is still up and live, so you can see the story of Frolic, how it worked, and see when the next batch will be available. So thanks for joining us, Yuri. Thank you so much for being here
Oh, it was
and
a
talking to us
pleasure.
about the different parts, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.